Welcome to William Steele, True Crime and Steele Spotlight Television. This is William Steele, my guest host, Ignacio Esteban. Ignacio,
What's up, Bill? What's going on, man? Like always, another
everybody.
good week, another good show.
Yep. And
We
for
got a
everybody
lot
who doesn't
going
know who
on.
Ignacio is, we're going to be on Child Safety Soldiers and some other sites involved with a lot of good things coming up. But Ignacio is retired from ATF and U.S. Customs Service, federal law enforcement, close to 30 years, written over 80 books. He's got
Yeah,
a
man.
screenplay. He's talking on he's on this new program coming out on History Channel called Gangland Chronicles. Check it out.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I can't wait to see that. And of course, Bill, you got good news on A&E. Your
Yep.
show has been unlocked again, right? Inmate to roommate.
That's right. So Inmate to Roommate is about the journey. I did 18 years for nonviolent crimes and getting out of incarceration and living with people who are not my family members. I wore this shirt for a reason. This is the recognizable shirt from the show. It's show
Right,
worn.
right.
Fans say, hey, autograph it and I'll buy it from you. I'll give you $2,000. I'll give you this. I'll give you that. I may frame it and do that one day. But, for the
Not
time
right, not
being,
yet.
yeah, I want everybody just to really follow this journey because I get a lot of love. I'm called inspirational, funny, and it's been a real blessing. Season 2 is about to air on the 30th of May. And
Nice.
so I don't know if I'm in any of those episodes. I know they're profiling 6 more people. It's on their trailer, so now I can talk a
Okay,
little bit more about
okay.
it. I do know they circle back and are like really eager to do more with me because I have literally tens of millions of
Got,
fans.
got some following, so that's a good thing. So maybe season 3 then, Bill. We'll see.
I wish each one of those tens of millions of fans, because I literally have them. You can actually count them on different sites, and I guess they do something called analytics, and then like views and
Sure.
this. I wish I had a quarter for each one of them because it's still a struggle. Look, this world is a brutal place. I had family members take advantage of me when I was incarcerated and stole a lot of money. So I am still in the struggle stage, but it's better than looking over my shoulder. So I'm doing the right thing
It's
here.
better being incarcerated, right, Bill? It's
Yeah,
better to live where you want to sleep and get up when you want to do what you want than them say, hey, time to eat, time to go this, time to do this, time to do that. You have your freedom. That is precious.
that's right. Or somebody like this guy saying, okay, take your clothes off, squat and, cough and all this nonsense, when they're
Yeah.
searching you and all this stuff.
That's a tough job to do.
Yeah.
That's a tough, thankless job, and it's tough because it's a very dangerous job too. As you know, you've been with those horrible gangsters too.
Yep. So that being said, we are rolling into additional collaborations. My,
Yeah.
my regular guest, we got Ignacio. He's got some books out. We're going to put them on the screen. All links are in the description. ATF Undercover being the big one. Frank Lordi, former commissioner, was exonerated, went to prison. He wrote a book called Framed Innocence. Frank's going to be coming back on. And we're aligning with 2 other people. We don't know the depth of it at the moment, but one of them, Shane Coyle, used to be the ultimate decoy. He does targets online predators. Now he
Predators, right?
has, check this out, it's called Child Safety Soldiers on Facebook, and they
Nice.
sting predators. He has a voice change thing. Naturally, he does voiceovers. He's available for voiceovers.
Mhm.
And he can sound just like a little girl. It's bizarre. It's almost spooky. It's a little bit creepy, actually. But he's a good guy and his heart's in it. I
It's our
think he's
tenant, man.
going.
It's important. Taking care of those kind of people, take them off the street. It's what's all about. So we look forward to talking to him a little bit also.
Now,
And
Lou
yeah,
Ballesteri, I just started. So let me just get this one last one in.
yeah.
So Lou Ballesteri was a organized crime detective from the New York City Organized Crime Detective Bureau. He came up through the ranks. He got started in the early '80s in the Lower East Side. So Lou's going to be coming on as a guest, and he wants to be occasional guest host. He's going
That's
out to
cool.
the Mob Museum in Vegas. We're thinking of doing Crime Con together. I think you're thinking of doing that as well.
Hmm.
So that's in Nashville, and a lot of things are happening. So Lou Ballesteri,
That's
shout
good.
out to him. He brought down with his crew and with Giuliani, who basically turned on them and let these guys down. Something terrible.
Hmm.
He's got a beautiful documentary out. It's called Wasteland. So we're going to be
Wasteland.
promoting
Okay.
Wasteland, and so we're going to be
Is it
promoting
a
that.
Netflix or where's it at, Bill?
I don't know where they're putting it out yet. I have a copy of it. I think I
Okay.
can share it. I have to clarify, but it's very good. And they brought down members of Genovese, which I believe is the Chin Gigante, and Colombo,
Colombo? No.
Gambino family.
Gambino.
Now,
Yeah.
this is an Italian guy. He grew up, with mob on one side, police on the other side. His father was a police officer. He did some wrong when he was younger and decided, you know what? I don't want to end up like these guys in prison, and I
And
want
he
to be a
changed.
cop.
Gotcha.
So he's got a hell of a career, but now that he's out of it, he really he has some bitterness about the way he was not given promotions after making one of the biggest organized crime cases this country's ever seen. Ignacio,
Interesting.
we need you to tell us what the heck's going on with Buc-ees. We're going to update Buc-ees.
Buc-ees, man. Buc-ees. I get yesterday, Tuesday, again, I appeared in front of the Board of Supervisors in Stafford County, me and other residents. There I am, right there. Full house. It was a packed house. And then they had an overflow also from the local area, Austin Ridge, Embry Mill area, and others. There it is, Stafford, Virginia. And pushback against Buc-ees, who wants to set up in our backyard. And those who don't know, what is a Buc-ees? Buc-ees is a Texas-based franchise that is a mega gas station. They want 120 gas pumps with a Walmart-like convenience store, and it's going to bring in 20 to 30,000 daily, 24/7, 365 through our community, which is a very peaceful community right there off I-95. Very nice. I mean, we already have gas stations, Bill. We have a Wawa there. We just built it. And we have a Sheetz. And Wawa has invested a lot of money in Stafford, over 5 gas stations. What does that do to their investment right there? How fair is that to Wawa? I think this is a lot to do very political. It appears that the owner of Buc-ees is a contributor to the governor's office, to the governor's campaign, right? One of his funds out there, Governor Youngkin. We're all pro-capitalist, and we want, but we have to have smart businesses that fit the community. Buc-ees does not fit this area. I mean, we already have the gas station. We want something that's family-oriented, put more, and there's still stuff that's owed in the community. There's still a school that needs to be built there. There's a library that's owed to the community. There's also a fire rescue. There's county parks. There's things that still have to be done before. You have to care to the needs of the people who live here, not to the motorists of I-95. And we don't want to be a pit stop and say, oh, that's a Buc-ees. Hey, have good toilets. Let's flush and go. Flush, that's what Stafford will be. Flush and go will be the motto there. Flush and go. And then billboards. Can you imagine having those lights all the time from your house? I mean, it's like having a ball game every day in your backyard.
I heard somebody might be designing some artwork that has a toilet with the Buc-ees caricature there. We are capitalists. We agree with their business model in general, but not in adjacent, right up against
to a nice,
beautiful retirement, affluent area like Stafford, Virginia. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. No. So what happens is this artwork that I saw where the Buc-ees guy is getting flushed down one of their toilets. No Buc-ees here.
No Buc-ees here.
This is the
beaver.
The beaver. He's a beaver. Yeah, another one had some other image of him, but I might not ever show that. But it was pretty. We try to keep things positive.
Remember the TV show from the 50s, Bill? I used to see in syndication. Leave It to Beaver.
Yep.
Not this beaver. That's for sure.
Not this
no, not Leave It to Beaver. Not this beaver. We gotta no. They already built 2 in Virginia. And this governor has appeared on both of them when they had the grand opening and making very interesting statements because they get a lot of gas tax from them. The state does. So I understand that, but not in the hub of a very nice area. That remember, they may bring in $2 million a year in real estate taxes for the county. This area brings over $20 million that we live in. So. Right. It doesn't make sense to care to them. And then it's going to make a big mess. And then there's going to be congestional issues, obviously. There's going to be issues with the schools. The school busing is going to be a problem. Going back and forth to the hospital is going to be a problem. The environment issues are going to be a problem. There's nothing there. And, of course, the biggest concern for me, Bill, is higher crime. That's the biggest concern for me because gas stations, convenience stores, violent criminals, as you know, and we've talked about it with your background, they target these, and FBI statistics show higher percentage of violent criminals target gas stations and convenience stores than other businesses. That's a fact. That's a stat. I know it. You know it. And especially with over 800 parking spots. God, are you kidding me? 800 parking spots?
That's bigger than a Walmart or a Costco, isn't it?
It is. Plus 120 gas pumps. Plus you get this whole, there's going to be good families, yes. But you know what? I've checked the history of Buc-ees. They've had mass shootings. They've had regular shootings. They've had armed robberies. They've had road rage incidents there. People, it's all crazy in there.
Vehicles broken into, and I know from doing illegal things, we were trafficking coke and guns, and meeting people for illicit purposes with stolen jewelry, and God knows who I was meeting. I was always trying to meet in a public place, and be very cautious because I was mostly doing things on my own. And so these big parking lots were ideal staging grounds for my burglaries back in the day. I'd go there, a big place, a Walmart parking lot or a supermarket, like in Florida when I was in Florida, Publix and all these spots.
Yeah.
And I might run in and grab, some orange juice or Gatorade and get myself, balanced because I was not really rushing into places. I was very, very cautious because I didn't want to get killed. I didn't want to come across an armed homeowner. So I always had to be clean cut, and I'd even take the jewelry off. I'd throw a wedding band on. I just looked the part, like I fit in.
Right.
But I would always use those type of places as a staging area. I can't imagine pulling into a lot with 800 car parking lot. Now, I don't know if there's any truth to this rumor. The owner of Buc-ee's, now there's somebody that was supposedly in his family.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Allegedly that they were putting hidden cameras in some of the bathrooms or somewhere. That's
it wasn't at the stores. It was in a personal residence that he did that.
Okay. And the other thing was, I don't know if there's any truth to this rumor. We're just kind of putting it out there. I don't know. It's just kind of been reported and it's been rumored that the owner, he's been doing a lot of, he seems like a great guy, but there's some speculation that Amazon is looking to build a gigantic fulfillment center like right up against his community. So I don't know how he's going to like an Amazon fulfillment center with 18 wheelers night and day coming in and out of it. So.
No one's happy with that. And you know what? We said if you were going to build one in the Stafford County, there's an airport exit farther down south that has a lot more space. But guess what? Amazon's been building massive warehouses in that area.
Right.
I don't think Amazon wants them either. So it's like Buc-ee's fits in a certain place, Bill. It doesn't fit in a residential community. That's for sure.
We sum it up like this. Boom.
Yeah, the buck stops here. No Buc-ee's. Oh, keep on going. It's an uphill fight. Right now, they backed away. So people know they had backed away asking. It's not properly zoned for Buc-ee's. So they wanted a waiver for the zoning. And they backed away because they saw we had over an hour of people saying no Buc-ee's and the reasons for the residents talking in front of the board of supervisors. They only give you 3 minutes. And now the board supervisors want to change the timeline from 7 p.m. to an earlier time, which is tough for people, and limit you to speak only once a month, which I think is wrong. I think you should be able to talk as much as you like on different topics every time because there's so much out there going on.
If you have
Don't limit people.
Right. If you have a right to contribute and they're dealing with more than one topic than Buc-ee's for your community, and they're elected officials or appoint whatever they are, they're elected, I would assume.
Elected officials.
And so if they're elected officials, you should have a right to be heard way more than once a month. Maybe on the same topic, limit your comments to, once a week. It's just way people don't abuse, their minute of fame, but on a topic. But as you become more educated or you need to counter something that came up, you do need to circle back sometimes.
Oh, so, yeah, for sure. That, and there's so much to talk about. Once, like I said, they woke up a sleeping giant, Bill. What they've done is woken up a sleeping giant. So it's like saying, what about the elementary school that's old here in that area? They haven't done that. What about the library that was promised? Hasn't been done either. What about fire rescue station that should be in this area? Hasn't been done either. What about the county park that was? So now we have to hold these people accountable because it's nothing's worse than we're paying. Remember, this area of Stafford is bringing a lot of the real estate tax revenue to the county. And are you spending the money in other locations, not within, the Garrisonville district? That's not right. That's not right there. So.
Well, the thing is, all this missing promises and maybe missing money, Mayor is a forensic accountant. She's helped build racketeering cases and all that. We hear additional rumors that possibly these people could be looked at, under racketeering statutes if they're doing something wrong. And we're not alleging that here.
No,
absolutely not. If money's disappearing, allegedly, or not being spent on things you guys are being promised, and you're paying whatever dues or whatever you pay your taxes. I mean, what the hell? That's just that doesn't sound right.
But we're not. I'm not alleging that at all. I'm just saying that money. I know people sometimes priorities change, and they decide to allocate the money other places. My point is this, Bill. They should focus on this area, and it's been here, and things that they need should be done since so much revenue comes out of this area. That's my point there. What I do find interesting, though, since we brought that point out, follow the money trail. It's the money trail from the owner of Buc-ee's to the governor's Youngkin. $50,000+ I mean, when you pay that, I understand, but sometimes there's an obligation that comes with it. You feel you owe them something. And so far, 2 Buc-ee's in Virginia, Texas guy, contributing to the governor of Virginia, right? And plus, remember, Youngkin looks like he's going to run 2028. Everything shows that. So maybe he's trying to build up his war chest, and he says, you know what, adds revenue to the state. But again, don't shove it down people's throats. Yeah, we're capitalists, but not everything fits in a place where you say, because we also have here, we spent a lot of money and we built a really nice exit ramp, and we have what we call a diamond formation in this interstate here, right? So they like that. But the other places they may have to build themselves, and maybe they don't want to spend that kind of money. Well, I'm sorry. You guys are making, I think Buc-ee's is making over $2-3 billion. That's what it's worth, 2 or 3 billion and counting. They keep on growing. And this would be what I'm reading, the farthest northern Buc-ee's in this country. And it's in Nova. So they're pushing now. It's not just Texas Southeast. They're taking Mid-Atlantic and maybe even Northeast. So we'll see. They would love to put a Buc-ee's somewhere in the Northeast. That would really be a game changer. That means they're going all over. They're going to the West. They're going to want to be dominant. And what's going to do? It's going to destroy the smaller mom and pop gas stations. Yep. They're going to be the Walmart of gas stations.
So we say no Buc-ee's here. Mary designed this thing for you guys. We shout out to the people of Stafford. And I would also like your citizens over there who have been watching our shows together to please subscribe, like, share. That would be very, very helpful for the growth of this channel and spreading the word to help you guys and to help us out as well.
Thank you, Bill.
That being said, I'm being notified right now that we have a very special guest coming on here in a minute. Shane Coyle is going to be joining us from Child Safety Soldiers. So we'll move on to our next topic. But as he comes in, he's only got a few minutes.
Yeah, man.
It's really good that he's going to give us a little bit of his time. This man's a dynamic fireball of activity.
All right, we can talk a lot to talk about here. I can pick up something that caught my attention last night. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bill, unbelievable. She tried to vacate the Speaker of the House, and the parties came together, the Democrats and Republicans who were not on her side, and saved and kept the Speaker position for Mike Johnson. And she was horrifically booed by Republicans and Democrats equally. And if you haven't seen that video, watch her. She is really my opinion, she's involved in a lot of Alex Jones conspiracy theorists. And I do not take her as a serious representative because she doesn't actually understand, I think, history, doesn't really understand what politics, what democracy is. She gets into her little world there of conspiracies. She even believed, I think maybe she changed her opinion about Sandy Hook, that there weren't really any victims. This was staged just by the Democrats so they could end up taking people's guns away and attack the NRA, which, as we know, it really happened. Sandy Hook was a horrific massacre that occurred happened in Connecticut.
And you wrote a book, How to Eliminate the Mass Shooters and Solutions.
And I spoke about Sandy Hook for sure. That was horrific. If you haven't seen the videos of Sandy Hook, those poor kids, kid, I'm not gonna mention his name. He had mental health issues. He kills his mom. He steals her guns while she sleeps. His poor mom puts 2 bullets in her head, right? Puts 2 bullets in her head, Bill, and then goes to the school and then executes all those kids. And the principal jumps in front and takes a bullet for her kids. It's a horrible situation that happened there. And for her to say it was staged, it didn't happen. That's why Alex Jones was sued by the families. And guess what? They lost. Right. Alex Jones got destroyed.
So we're all about crime prevention here. And we're speaking about kids and protecting them from these mass shooters. You have a book about it. We're going to bring on Shane Coyle right now from Child Safety Soldiers. Let me introduce him. He doesn't have a lot of time. I'm going to give him a quick intro here and let him say his piece because we're going to be collaborating.
Hey, Shane Coyle, guys.
Yeah, how you doing?
Everybody, let me introduce Shane real quick. So, Ignacio, this is Shane Coyle, Child Safety Soldiers. Used to be called the ultimate decoy. He could change his voice to sound like anybody you want him to sound like, including a young girl. It sounds a little creepy sometimes, but the guy is talented, man.
Wow.
He gets these people. I want you to introduce yourself to my audience. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be collaborating.
Not a problem, brother. Always
collaborate. I have tens of millions of fans, so I'm glad to bring my fans to your stage. Bring your fans to my stage. William Steele True Crime. Like and subscribe to Shane's material, my material, Ignacio's. Now, Shane, I'm going to show you this real quick on the screen for you and your audience.
Okay.
This is part of my new EPK. So there's a little bio there about Ignacio, my fiance Mary, and my other co-host Frank Lordi.
Wow.
And
excellent.
So that tells you what they do and why they're on this show and why they're part of it.
Ignacio, 80 books, man. 80 books. Wow. I don't think I've read 80 books in a lifetime, man. You've written. That's amazing.
I wish I would have known you were a voice actor. Maybe I would have. I have some of my books in Audible, and I've had a few guys do some. But I got more books, man. So I'll listen to your stuff.
Let me know. I William will tell you, man. I'm a voice actor originally, Ignacio, and I'll introduce myself and my passion rather than profession.
Yes.
Many years ago, I realized I could do a female voice when I was 16 years old, when I was cutting class and I had to pretend to be my mom with the teachers. It was crazy. And there's a whole story on William's interview that we actually discussed it in detail. But basically what I do, Ignacio, I'm going to be totally transparent with your entire audience, guys, and your platform. I am a felon. I am a addict. And I'm unapologetically both. I'm an addict in recovery, and I'm a felon that has been reformed. I am not
That's
part of
good.
the 87% recidivism rate, thank God, thank goodness, Lord willing. And I have decided to dedicate my life and make my life's work about keeping kids safe. And how I did this was many years ago, Ignacio, when my daughter was 11, 12 years old, she was preyed on by a child predator. He
Oh,
never
wow.
got to her, never got to her. I intercepted the calls, thankfully. But I took it upon myself to take it a step further. Instead of being an angry father saying, "Hey, who the heck are you? And where are you at?" They're just going to hang up. My brother Jason actually gave me the idea. He says, "Man, why don't you use one of your voices and pretend to be your daughter?" I said, "Okay." So the calls came in. Let me clear my throat to make sure I've got my Jennifer voice down pat. The call came in. I answered the phone like this, Ignacio. Now, the predator was messaging her for a period of 2-3 days. Just two adult-like questions. What's your bra size? He had a fake 13-year-old boy's profile picture up at the top, pretending to be a little boy, trying to infiltrate and groom my daughter. That's what they do.
That's awesome.
Being in the industry that you're in, you understand how these predators' minds works.
Yeah.
I've been doing it over 7 years. I understand all too well. So he was trying to groom my daughter and trying to manipulate my child. So I decided to do it to him. I manipulated him. I pretended to be my child. So I answered the phone like this. Hello. Hey, what's up? How are you? It's Jennifer Adelia. Okay, like, so where are you at? All right, cool. That's where you want to meet? All right, see you there. This gentleman, and without saying all the explicits that
That's
he
pretty
was
good,
talking
man.
about,
That's
he
pretty
became
good.
very graphic with me over the phone, detailing what he wanted to do sexually, physically, just really a predator in all its likeness.
Sick guy.
I met up with him. Needless to say, without going into detail, he's probably not going to prey on any children anymore.
That's good.
He was arrested, and it was his third time sexually offending, which in the state of Florida, we all know what happens then. I got back to my house and I said to myself, wow, if this is happening to my daughter, why don't I do what these guys are doing in the UK? These guys in the UK, they were doing it for years. Chris Hansen was doing it. It hit me. I said, what happens if I place an ad on social media saying that I'm a 14-year-old female? Well, Ignacio, no sooner did I place this ad, hundreds upon hundreds of predators, one after the other. Hello. Okay, cool. So, like, where are we going? How old are you? Oh, I'm only like young, right? And literally busted hundreds of these guys. So now, what we finally are doing, and I'm so proud to say, I've partnered up with Capo for Christ. I'm running myself directly in line with God. All that I do, my cursing has dropped off. My negative thinking has dropped off. I'm literally lining myself with Christ, lining myself in my organization, Child Safety Soldiers, with God. And I partnered with an amazing minister by the name of Gaetano Castellino, who is the owner of Capo for Christ and Gaetano's New York Kitchen. So I teamed up, partnered with him, got William on board. William's going to be doing all of the crime reporting. William might even start his own team in his state,
Yeah, he
which is
told me that.
ultimately my goal. When I started over 7 years ago, Ignacio, I said, you know what? I called myself the ultimate decoy, obviously because I was the only decoy. I was the girl. I was the boy. There was nobody else involved but me. And then other decoys online chatting. I had some great decoys. But I said, and my mission statement back then, over 7 years ago, was, and it's before all these teams flourished, I said, I want to have a chapter of the ultimate decoy in every city and every state in the United States. 7 years later, look what's happening. They're not calling themselves the ultimate decoy, but they're definitely just out there tearing it up, annihilating these child predators by the dozens a week.
Nice.
You've got guys like Bikers Against Predators getting arrests every time. You've got Bikers Against Predators. You got Worldwide Predator Hunters. You got Arizona Predator Prevention. You got Truckers Against Predators. You got, I can name them all the way down the line.
That's awesome, Shane.
Yeah,
You
Oklahoma Predator
seem
Prevention.
you're very passionate about this. This has been a mission for you, man. That's awesome.
It's been a long time coming, and we just had our first board meeting last night, which was absolutely amazing with all the players and moving parts and components of Child Safety Soldiers and Capo for Christ and Gaetano's New York Kitchen. And we had William on there. William is going to be one of our go-to guys when it comes to crime reporting. I've already got an arrest. I just got a 49-year-old self-proclaimed motorcycle gangster, which turned out to be just a weak-minded individual preying on children. I just got him arrested. That was my last bust. We actually have a bust coming out tonight. Lord willing, that it goes through. We have a bust tonight and then one tomorrow, maybe two tonight. So, Ignacio, man, the work that you've done, that I've researched on you and seen that William's already spoken highly of you on,
Thank you.
it falls right in line with our mission statement. It really
No,
does.
that's awesome.
You know, so
let me ask you this, and I'm just getting to know what your work is and everything else. How's your conviction rate? How's that going?
Well, I'll tell you what, my decoy's got 40 out of 50 convictions, 50 arrests, 40 convictions. Now, this is my decoy has been at it for an immense amount of time. Over the years, I've got hundreds of busts, but I wasn't always working with law. Let me rephrase that. I wasn't always having law enforcement involved. Over the years, for past 7 years, law enforcement was reluctant. They didn't want to jump in. And now that I'm doing it a total different way, because listen, Ignacio, it wasn't starting out as a show and as an online awareness platform. It started out as me, a father, going after a predecessor of my daughter.
Sure.
I wasn't exactly trying to get a confession. I knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Now, everything that we do falls right underneath the bylaws of our organization and the laws of the United States of America. We are hand in hand willing to do whatever it is to get these guys arrested. And the way that we work, we just demonstrated with our last bust, the police were more than willing to arrest them, and our evidence was ironclad. So we're very, very proud. Our decoy rate, 40 out of 50 convictions, 50 arrests. So it's only going to skyrocket. It really is. Now that we're in line with Christ, we're in line with all the right people, and no negativity's happening. Man, Ignacio, sky's the limit, and the limit we can pass that.
Yeah, I look forward to doing a lot more shows and talking to you guys about it and promoting this and getting them out there, and hopefully people join your team. I mean, and anybody takes out these sexual deviants, and you know, in my career, my work, you've seen horrible people come in and not just molest these kids, but kill them. Right?
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
It's not just molestation. It's also how they go out there and dismember and kill these kids and do horrible things.
It almost brings tears to my eyes, man.
Yeah.
It literally is that disgusting and profound. And, you know, it's only out there in the public every so often. When I say in the public, the media has tendency to just put on the high profile cases. They only do the low hanging fruit, but the high hanging fruit is what we're going for. We're going for all. Every single child predator that attaches itself to our organization by contacting our decoys, we're going after every single one of them. Right now, Ignacio, I will tell you right now, as I'm talking to you, this is my predator phone. This phone is going off nonstop. I don't want to turn it around. I have probably 13 predators in here right now that I'm texting simultaneously and having to get on the phone and talk to them as a little girl throughout the day. It's an emotional roller coaster that the only healing is God, and God makes me, you know, renew my spirit every day. I say a prayer with my partner, Gaetano, every day, and renews my spirit, because these demons, and that's what they are, and I truly believe it. I've known it the entire time.
They're sick.
They're demonic. There is no help for them other than God, and even then, God said, it was said, if thou shalt do so much as to harm the hairs on these little ones' heads, thou shalt not enter the kingdom of heaven. So we are doing God's work.
And all these kids get kidnapped. Yeah. Kidnapping, human trafficking gets involved. There's a lot of components that comes in with these guys. And you also do the ones for and not just girls, boys also get taken advantage too.
I busted several. We go on different applications that are you know, child appropriate, and absolutely I've busted several men going after little boys.
That's right.
My decoy, one of my decoys, does an amazing little boy voice. I could do one as well, but the fact is, we have components of it that are working parts of that might seem humorous to some people, but we only do it in that aspect to where the reality of it, it's not humor. And now it's funny to hear a guy doing a girl's voice, but the reality is these weak-minded individuals, these demons, these child predators, they hear what they want to hear. Any normal person right now, if you block the camera and I say, hey, what's up? How are you, sweetheart? Yeah, now I'm like 14. Why? You know I'm not. It doesn't sound 14 to me. But I have a 100% success rate, 90% now, of these predators never questioning the voice. Hello. Hello. Hey, what's up? How are you? My voice is kind of shot today. I've been using it all night.
Okay. No, that's fine. No, we got the idea.
Yeah, but it basically 100% is, you know, in light of the awareness and in lieu of the danger and darkness, we bring darkness to light with child safety soldiers, and that is our mission.
let me ask you this. For your audience, I have a reality show on A&E Network. Season 2 is going to drop on the 30th. I have William Steele True Crime. Please check it out. Subscribe. And the network just unlocked all of season 1, which I'm in. Now, I picked up right out of being incarcerated tens of millions of fans. We had 12.3 million on TikTok. I didn't even know what TikTok was.
Wow.
Right? So I want to this is something I wanted to do in conjunction with my true crime stuff. And I really believe that things happen for a reason. People meet for a reason. And we met for a reason, because who better to steer me and how to do this the right way than you? I want you to say what you can, because I know certain things are confidential, like the identities of your decoys.
100%.
But like, you have been affiliated over the years with numerous celebrities, including a mutual friend of ours, Joseph D'Onofrio. He was in Goodfellas, Silent Partners. Me and him are both in Silent Partners coming up in theaters. We're going to be on that in a few weeks. I think it's going to be airing and streaming and in theaters. So Joseph D'Onofrio, I met in a roundabout way through him. You've been on stage.
Yeah. I've actually, Joseph D'Onofrio is a great actor, great comedian. In fact, Joseph D'Onofrio, I salute, man. Good to see you. I haven't seen him in quite some time, but I actually did a stand-up comedy gig with him at Dangerfields in New York City, which I'm not really doing stand-up comedy too much anymore. However, if it's in light and God's will, man, I definitely will. But it'll all be clean, man. Because I wasn't exactly the cleanest comic in the days. I wasn't.
What other celebrities can you name drop, or prominent people, if you feel comfortable,
that's helping out with this
from your past or from now, that's been affiliated with you? I mean, you had your own reality show at one time on.
Oh
MTV.
yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. I was on a reality show over 14 years ago. I think it was 16 years ago, called From G's to Gents on MTV, which depicted gangsters in their worst atmosphere and then turning them into gentlemen. So from G's, meaning from gangster to gentleman. Yeah, it was, it was the entertainment life. It, no longer interests me too much anymore in that aspect of things. But as far as celebrities goes, listen, I've got a pocket full that are actually in my text box right now that I can't mention, not yet. And I've got a handful that I probably shouldn't mention until they give me their word, which I will do. A lot of the stuff with the celebrity contacts came from my former self of doing prank calls and all that stuff, which was fun. But again, I have to really clean all that stuff up, because now my main focus is child safety soldiers
to get them off.
and the mission at hand. And no lingering, no masquerading spirits, man. Because listen, even though I am masquerading as a female, a underage girl, this is in lieu of God's work to get these predators taken off the street.
Absolutely.
So as far as celebrities, I mean, we can talk off air. I'll probably drop a couple of them to you, man, and maybe even get some of them to do something on your show. But as far as me name dropping them yet, let me wait to talk to them to make sure. Just to make sure, you know what I mean? But there are quite a few. I will say this. Oh, go ahead. What we can say?
Oh, go ahead. You will say
what? I will say this. I definitely want to mention all the guys of the Gravesend series, the entire cast. They're absolutely amazing. William DeMeo, his son Christian DeMeo. I spent New Year's Eve with these guys at William DeMeo's place, and it was the best New Year's Eve that I've had in my life. So big shout to William DeMeo, Christian DeMeo, Pasquale Tetti, all of those guys that are really working diligently to create a masterpiece of the mafia genre. They have got it down pat. I mean, you watch William act in this Gravesend series, and you're going to see class action. Big shout out to Jimmy Valentino. There's so many different people out there that are, celebrities in the world of which is absolutely amazing. Like Gravesend series is on season 3. Don't forget, you can check out Gravesend season 1 and 2. I locked in on it, man. I locked in on it. It's a pleasure to know all of those guys. It's a pleasure to actually have spent New Year's Eve ringing in 2024 in the house and seeing them all interact as a family. They're not much different offset when it comes to unity as they are on set. But I'll tell you what, the creative minds of the guys of Gravesend, you like The Sopranos, right? You remember The Sopranos?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine The Sopranos times 20. And I'm telling you, it's that well written. You got Christian DeMeo, who's actually helping out with scene selection and writing. I mean, William DeMeo writing the thing. Listen, guys, it's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. So
where can people find it, Shane?
Gravesend series on Amazon Prime, I believe. And I believe that, pretty soon it's going to be on every network. I mean, listen, these guys, it's only a matter of time before it's plucked off of a network.
Let me ask you one quick thing. Hey, Shane, what if people are watching from the show? What can they do to help out your organization if they want to
Man,
get
I'll tell
involved?
you what. Thank you, Ignacio. Thank you for saying that. We are 100% solely ran on donations
Okay.
and, of course, our own personal contributions. We've been funding it 99.9%. If anybody wants to donate, they can go to my webpage, www.childsafetysoldiers.com. It is absolutely not necessary for you to donate cash because your sharing of our videos spreads just the same amount of love and same amount of affiliation. Your involvement with your passion to keep kids safe. If you share one of our predator busts, you're getting that predator's face out there. You're making the awareness imminent, and you're definitely helping us. But we do travel around the United States. We are going to be traveling around the United States,
Okay.
different states, busting predators. We're not just busting locally in my hometown. We're going all over. In fact, I'm going to Philly. The last one I did was upstate Pennsylvania. I'm getting ready to rock and roll. So yeah, contributions would be amazing.
Amazing. Okay.
ChildSafetySoldiers.com. Thank you, Ignacio, for asking that, because I
No,
probably wouldn't even have
absolutely.
said it, man.
I know,
No,
you know, one of
absolutely.
the things you have the support of, we can mention her because we came on together. I was in the comments, you were on Angel Gotti, John Gotti's daughter. So I know she's a big
Yeah,
supporter of yours.
yeah,
So like,
listen,
I look at
absolutely. They're all everybody, anybody that has children's safety in their hearts.
Oh,
We
yeah.
want to
exactly.
say that we love you. We
So,
absolutely love you.
so this type of work brings, like with my background, your background now. Ignacio is completely on the other side of the fence, and a
Mhm.
lot of people that we deal with will be like, why are you dealing with him? But people he deals with will be like, keep an eye on those two. So
Yeah.
life comes full circle, and here
Amen.
we are, like
Amen.
20 years, maybe in my case, almost away from my past, and you have people like Angel Gotti. Everybody check out her show, support her show. She's a nice woman. Supporting Shane and getting to know me and supporting my show. So
Yeah, you've got a lot. Absolutely, man. There's so many, William. You're
yep,
on point. And and a
yep,
lot of people will there. I've had a couple of hate messages like, "Oh, you just want celebrities on because they have a big influence." Well, you're 100% right.
You need
Absolutely. If
that.
someone has a big influence,
You
we
need
would
that.
love for them to spread awareness about keeping kids safe. So no
Yeah.
matter who the podcast is, no matter who the celebrity is, whatever it is, I look past any of the beefs, any of the problems that they may have within each other. There's some
I agree.
celebrities that don't talk to the others. Listen, if their mission is in line with keeping kids safe, the same thing as child safety soldiers, I'll talk to them. I'll make sure that, listen, you guys are going to
Shane,
help us. It's helping kids.
Shane, what do you recommend parents to do to help keep their kids safer so they don't have to go
Abs-
down this path?
there you
Listen,
go.
we're actually going to get started on doing educational seminars of these applications. I'll actually be teaching them on my Facebook page, Child Safety Soldiers. We're going to teach you the ins and outs of these applications. I'm going to show you. Here's Snapchat. You're going to have the screen, shared screen right up here.
Mhm.
Snapchat. I'm going to show you. This is number one. You leave your location factor on your child's phone, right? You might have, your child has their location factor on Snapchat. Well, Snapchat is one of the apps that literally, if you move 2 inches to the right or 2 inches to the left, the avatar of your child moves with the location factor on.
That's
The
good.
biggest, most important piece of advice that I can teach you guys is something that was taught to me. And most parents, now listen, we don't tell our kids, right? We don't. How many of you parents out there right now, and really think about this, parents, how many of you right now can say that you honestly in the past week have discussed stranger danger with your children? That's a question
Important.
that's not, you don't have to
Important.
answer it out loud, anybody. I can tell you. It's now, I haven't talked about it to my kids in over a week because they see what I do on a daily basis for years and years and years.
Mhm.
But you have to talk to your kids. Make it a point once a night for 10 minutes a night or once every other night. Bring it up. Talk to them. Hey, did anybody message you on Instagram that you don't know? Let me see. Let me take a look. I want to show you. Bring them to my page. Show them child safety soldiers. Show them that these evil creatures do exist. The biggest thing that I want to teach you guys, and this is going to be monumental because I didn't teach this on any other pages. Many, many years ago, a woman came into a school of my daughters. My daughter was only 7 years old.
Hmm.
Now, I didn't get to meet this woman. In fact, I don't even remember her name off rip, but I'm going to look it up right now before I mention it because I
Is
want
this
to give her the
to
plug.
make sure you check your kids' devices at all times? Keep checking their devices.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's why I don't let them on social media sites. My girls do not have access to that.
Yeah. No, and it's very hard. Wait, hold on one second.
Because you know what, these predators are so smooth. They're con
They
artists
are.
essentially, and they'll come up with a million different approaches. They'll pose as your father's best friend. He wants me to pick you up. You know, they'll
Yes.
pose as anything. I'll take you to Disney World. Things are bad at home. I'll handle that. Here's $100 gift card. I mean, they'll pose as anything to get their foot in the door.
Absolutely. I'm pulling up right now. Okay. This was taught to my daughter many, many years ago. Okay. Many, many years ago. And I'm going to teach your crew and your audience here right now. This will absolutely make the difference of your child being abducted or not abducted. Okay. And it was for, hold on. I got to see the woman's name. I don't remember. Hold on. Where is she? Hold on. Okay. I have to make sure I say her name. I'm sorry. And you could edit this if you have to, right, William? I'm sorry. Hold on.
Sure.
There
While
we
you're
go.
looking for it, I'm going to pop this.
No, he got it.
So you guys know that I knew briefly Jeffrey Epstein. I wrote a book about Ghislaine Maxwell, who I knew very well. I was in the Palm Beach house. I got out of there. So this book is about them. So I actually got evidence out of that house to authorities, and they did absolutely nothing about it. And that was years before Epstein was arrested. So that's the book that links in the description, and it's right up. If your fans want to check out that book, link in the description. Shane, what do you have for us? You have some more advice?
Absolutely. This was taught to my daughter personally by this woman right here, Tracy Arlington. Let me see the glare. There we go. Tracy Arlington. Tracy Arlington was going school to school teaching something called Chihuahua Crazy. Now, my daughter taught me, and I thought my daughter just was taught it by a teacher. So I ran with it long ago, started mentioning it, and people were like, "You're stealing that from me." And I was like, "Well, I didn't steal anything. I didn't know." So I wanted to make sure the credit is given where the credit is due. When you picture a Chihuahua, now check this out. I'll explain Tracy Arlington's vision, and hopefully I'll be working hand in hand with her soon.
They get fanatical. They get fanatical and real aggressive real quick.
Check this out. Now listen, a Chihuahua, right? You go to your neighbor's house. Now, audience, I'm talking to you. Chat, pay attention, because this could make the difference between your child being abducted or being safe. You have to teach your children this imminently, okay? Definitely. Say your neighbor asks you to go over there for lunch, right? For the first time. Now, you go over there, and the first thing they do is they bring you into the foyer, and you look down at the ground. There's this little Chihuahua. It's so adorable, right? You're just going to go pet that. The Chihuahua's going to go nuts. You know what I mean? Barking crazy. And you're going to be scared of that little Chihuahua. Little baby Chihuahua. You're so scared. Big, tough man screaming, "Oh, get it away, get it away." That same concept Tracy Arlington has applied. Your children, teach them to be Chihuahua crazy. Your child gets an abductor, okay? A stranger walks up to them. Don't teach your child to ask them what the password is, because listen, they're already engaging in conversation. There's a comfort level. Just have your child go Chihuahua crazy. Off the bat, they don't know the person. "This is not my daddy. This is not my daddy. This is not my mommy," screaming at the top of their lungs.
That's good.
That predecessor is 50% more likely to run than he is if it was a child just being quiet, asking them a password. You have to teach your children to be Chihuahua crazy.
Be aggressive.
Tracy Arlington, I want to say from Child Safety Soldiers, Tracy Arlington, you're absolutely amazing. I look forward to working with you, and I look forward to spreading your message.
Great. That's great. That's a great story, Shane. That's great.
And she's got crime prevention, preventing harm to children. She's welcome.
She's amazing. She's been on every channel. Dr. Phil.
Let me tell you something. You know, I was a prolific jewel and art thief, did a ton of burglaries. And man, would I hate to go in a house that had a small dog, especially a Chihuahua. I was laughing here because they've been through it where they're chasing you around, trying to get your ankles, and they're freaking out. And I'm like, man, I have less trouble with the big dogs in these houses.
Yeah, man. And that's the concept. You know, the children, they're small. The Chihuahuas, they're small. There's the correlation. Now, if you have a child who is not very outgoing and not very vocal, it's very difficult sometimes. I work a lot with a lot of autism, a lot of people that are gifted with autism. And I say gifted because it's not a disability, it's an ability. Autism is absolutely amazing. It's a gift. But I work with a lot of children that are very low vocal autism. I've worked with many people of adults that were not vocal. You can still teach them the concept. You can teach your child who might just be shy, that doesn't talk. Listen, a parent's influence is more influential than anybody, stranger, any person in the world. You influence your children more than anyone. That's why we look up to mom and dad. If mom and dad are not teaching their little ones the dangers of online social media, not even just online, the dangers of the world, the dangers of the devil, then your children are more susceptible. I know me as a father,
Yeah,
I've got
man.
an 18-year-old daughter who's a black belt. I've got a 10-year-old son who's a boxer and a basketball athlete. And both of
That's
them
good.
know what to do when it comes time if a stranger walks up to them. They know what to do firsthand. And it's easy to teach your children, people, because you're teaching from the heart. All
Yeah,
right. So
for
for
sure.
more on that, definitely come to my page, childsafetysoldiers.com, or you can check me out on Facebook, Child Safety Soldiers, or Instagram, which is Shane Jonathan Coyle. All right. So,
That's
man,
great,
guys, I
Shane.
can't
It
thank you
was good
enough.
meeting you, man. It was good meeting you.
Hey,
Amazing what you're doing, the work you're doing, and hopefully we can have you back on again and talk some more. And hopefully you can let us know who these celebrities are and keep on spreading the word and getting things out
absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. Ignacio, man, thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much.
Thank
William,
you for all the
salute,
stuff you
man.
do,
Thank
man.
you.
Keep
And to
up.
everybody else, make sure you check out Gravesend, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All
We
right,
got
Shane. Be
Child
safe.
Bye bye,
Safety
guys.
Soldiers.
Take
Everybody
care.
look out his material, his social, and if you can donate to the cost. They need hotel rooms, phone
That
time,
would be
this, that, and other,
amazing, guys. You know,
gasoline, gas cards, whatever it is that help them get around to catch these people. Because
and that's
while
the thing too,
while
William.
you're hard at work and your kids are home early from school, somebody's preying on them. And this
Yeah,
man
Absolutely.
is
don't
one of
want
the few
that.
people in this country running interference for that and trying to pick
Thank
them
you.
off one at a time. So
Thank you,
I
brother.
support his
Yeah,
work. I look forward to our collaboration together big time. And
absolutely, guys.
Thank you,
yep.
Shane.
So
Hey,
check
guys,
out
you
his
take care,
material.
man.
Really.
Thank you, guys. ChildSafetySoldiers.com. Come check us out, guys. I'm going to go work on these predators right now, man. Literally.
Take care of him, man. Get
I'll
him.
see you guys later.
Go,
All right,
go get
Shane.
it.
Thank you. Go get him, man. Oh, that's good. That was really good. Interesting. First time.
It's like
Amazing. You're right with the voices, Bill. His
have
voice
him
impersonation is
on the show. I
impressive.
feel like I drank 10 cups of coffee. He's like, he's a chihuahua.
I like that crazy chihuahua. That's a good technique. Kids need to do that. Go out there, go crazy. Don't let them take you in that car. Don't
It's
let
better
them
than
get
the
you in that car.
alternative.
Fight
It's
for
better
your
than the
life.
alternative.
Let your kid know. Scream, scratch, yell. Fight for your life if you have to. Don't go quietly. Don't go
Yep.
quietly.
It's better than the
That's a good
alternative
show.
because once they lock you in and isolate you, it's over. So,
Oh no! Once they get you, it's game set match. Look at John Wayne Gacy. Look at all the sick individuals out there and what they do, Dahmer and all of them. Once they get you in a certain area, they start going their business and it's over. And he had the famous tourniquet that he wrap around. And these kids were young teenage boys,
Yep.
right? He's telling me we used to work for him in the area. He brings them in, get them liquored up, and then puts him that tourniquet, handcuffs them, and it's game set match. Horrible things.
he was the killer clown, John Wayne Gacy. I believe you wrote a book about it and about serial
Yeah.
killers. But I tell you
Psycho
what,
killers.
Yep.
Psycho killers.
His thing was he would show them a trick to get out of handcuffs and say, "Here, let me handcuff you behind your back," and then he would put the tourniquet around them, and it was over. So this is a message to child crime prevention and protect your children.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing a lot more shows on this and collaborating a lot more with Shane. And
I can't wait to hear all the celebrities are involved. That'll be interesting.
Yep, yeah, he knows them. I was hoping he'd name a few. He named a couple, and Joseph's a mutual friend. So
What's the name of that show again? Gravesend, you mentioned?
Gravesend series. It's about growing up. I actually grew up in Brooklyn, in Gravesend section. So I've been saying, "Hey, Will, I'm out of prison now. Give me a spot on the show."
And it's an Amazon Prime, he said. So that's cool. Very good.
So.
Amazon Prime.
I'm not sure. It's everywhere. I think they're in season 3 right now. It's pretty. It's a good show. It's really good. My best friend, one of my best friends, Bruce Sosa, A-list actor, has done a whole bunch of things. This guy, I think you've seen me with him in Florida when I did some shows with Bruce. He's on Gravesend. And he did movies with Rob.
I saw that you also did something with Tom Madden and him, a little show also when you guys visited together. Exactly. I remember seeing that one. You guys had a cool blooper, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yep. So I have an interview with him that's going to be going up soon. He's also working with some A-list celebrities. He's looking at a network show. I can't say which network, where he's going to be like a crime fighting superhero type guy, like in the vein of like a Bruce Willis back in the day. So he's got some good things on the table. He doesn't say much about him, but he confides to a few people, and I can't go further than that. But shout out to Bruce. He's a good friend, man of faith, and we wish him nothing but continued success.
No, good. That's good there, Bill. Good there. I know we went a little longer with Shane than we thought, but we got a few interesting little topics here. I think we should finish off here. How about
Yep. Yeah, go ahead. We have. I'm trying to look. I think we've been on 48 minutes. So yeah, let's try to
roll. So we'll at least talk about this topic here, since O.J. Simpson, infamous O.J. Simpson, died last week. We had a chance to talk about this at age 76 from prostate cancer. I'll be honest with you, I didn't shed a tear. I thought he should have been. He was convicted civilly, wasn't convicted criminally. should have been convicted criminally, and the Dream Team got him off on some technicalities. If it doesn't fit Johnny Cochran, you must acquit. The famous scene with the gloves, he's showing like this, it doesn't fit. Obviously, why would they have him put the gloves on? I think the prosecution never tried it, covered in blood, it shrunk, the process. Of course, it's going to shrink. And of course, he's going to expand his hands like this. And of course, it's not going to fit.
Right.
I think the whole thing was a debacle.
And I was a law clerk in prison, and you were in law enforcement. You know, when there's bloody or wet evidence, once it's processed, it's put in special drying machines before it's stored long term. It's put in dryers to make sure no mold forms. And so when leather dries, what does it do? Shrink.
It shrinks, of course.
Those were OJ's gloves all day long.
And he was tried. He was convicted in civil trial, but he was tried for the murder of Nicole Brown, his ex-wife, and Ron Goldman, who he had domestic issues with. And you remember the pictures? She was abused. She was a battered wife, right? And those pictures are there, convicted of that. Ron Goldman, unfortunately, happened to be the wrong place at the wrong time. They used to go to the restaurant. I can't remember the name of the restaurant right now in Brentwood. They're frequent often. She had left her glasses behind, and he happens to be there when he's stabbing her. And he tries to save her, and then he gets killed. Because OJ is a big man, an imposing individual. Allegedly, OJ killed. But he's dead now. But he was convicted in a civil trial. The evidence is a lot less, not beyond a reasonable doubt, preponderance. And in my opinion, it was jury nullification. Jury nullification. There was allegedly, I put in my book there, infamous LA murders. I talk about this one and other famous LA murders and Menendez brothers. I talk about the Black Dahlia. I talk about Bugsy Siegel. I talk about some of those infamous murders, the Wonderland murders that happened in Los Angeles. This is up there with it and how he got away with it. But you know what? At least there was a small smither of justice, Bill, when Nevada, they convicted him for trying to steal his Heisman Trophy, other stuff he has, sports memorabilia that he had there. At least there was a smither, very small. 8 years, that's fine. He should have been life in jail.
Crime prevention. Let's say this. What he got in trouble was for this. Somebody legally came into possession of some of his memorabilia, including the Heisman Trophy. And he got wind that the guy was at an event in Vegas and he had the stuff in the room. It belonged to the man in the room. He gets his way in there, and they have a gun on him. One of them does. I'm not sure if it was OJ, I forget. And they said, nobody's leaving. That's my stuff. Well, guess what? You have a gun and you tell somebody not to leave, it's robbery. No matter what your intention was, robbery. What killed me was he goes before the parole board, and I watched the hearing. He lied and says, I lived my whole life without conflict. And I'm like, he sold so many lies to the parole board, and they granted his parole. Are you kidding me? There's people that are like done all the right things and tell the truth. Like, I regret what I did, and I'm sorry, and I did all these things to change my life, and they can't get released. This man lied, high profile lies to a parole board, and the Nevada parole board released him.
He should have done more time. He should have done more time. And rest in peace, obviously, Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. The families have suffered immensely. That was they were victimized twice, victimized by OJ, and then victimized by the system itself. The Judge Ito. He had no control of that case. The Dream Team pretty much took it over, and the prosecutors made some bad decisions. And Mark Furman didn't help either. He should have clarified. Did he ever use the N-word? Yeah, I did it for a screenplay that I was doing. Not ever. Did I ever use it during my course of my job? That should have been the answer. Not did I ever use the N-word. He was rehearsing a screenplay, and he was doing a role, right? And that should have been clarified also. I mean, and then of course there was that Black Panther juror who gave him the signal before the jury was read. I mean, they just had a really bad jury that didn't care about the evidence. DNA evidence linked him there. He only had motivation to kill her. It all makes sense for OJ to have done it. No one else killed these two. There was no setup. I saw that Alan Dershowitz was saying he believed he was framed. I don't think so. There's no way you can say, look at the evidence, his motivation.
The fingertip of the glove directly corresponded with the cut he had on his finger. So.
That's right. And why would you have a slow chase? And why would you put the gun to your head, right? With AJ or CJ, or whatever his name is, I have in my book, driving the Bronco.
Cowling or something his name is?
Yeah. And I have a name in this book, driving. It was a circus. It was an absolute circus. He should have been convicted, no doubt about that. But the jury, I think it put it in the wrong venue. It should have been a different location, and I think that would make a huge difference if that was the wrong venue. I think in downtown Los Angeles, that's what happened, because you had, of course, on the backdrop here on the heels of the LA riots, right? And there was a lot of
Right.
anger about that.
He got it moved, I think, to the suburb somewhere where it's supposed a very strong. Was that the case? No, that was Rodney King case. I
No,
got the
Ronnie King, they
cases
got it.
confused.
Now
Right.
he got convicted. This one, they did not do it, and OJ
Okay.
was acquitted.
Right.
So if they
Gotcha.
would have done the same, he would have been convicted. But what
Right.
happened is they kept it, and there was anger from '92, right? From the LA, still a lot of anger. I put that in my book. The LA riots contributed to OJ Simpson being acquitted. You know what? They said you have pretty much, in their opinion, I think it's wrong. Yeah, there's been misjustices, but what's wrong is wrong here. Don't try and make up for injustice that happened in the past by acquitting a man who's a murderer, a
You have to
double-sided
look at the facts and evidence and
murderer.
imagine what if that happened to someone in your family? Would you want
Yes.
somebody making an emotional, racially charged decision to acquit? Or would you want somebody saying, man, this is somebody's loved one. I need to listen to the facts and evidence and make a decision. Now, we're going to have to wrap the show up real quick. I will say this. We're going to be having Peter Strasser on. He was a former U.S. attorney for where?
U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Louisiana out of New Orleans. And he also retired Navy. I was reading his bio on, he reached out to me on LinkedIn, and we're friends on LinkedIn. So we've been discussing retired Navy JAG, impressive career, and now he's working with the Mongolian government, anti-corruption.
So he was introduced to us by Tom Madden from Transmedia Group. He's doing a lot of press releases for you and a lot of collaboration with me as well on things. Now, Tom was former vice president of NBC, dear friend of mine. He introduced me to Mary, as a matter of fact. So Peter's going to be coming on regarding the Lamar Burke case out of Texas. Lamar, there's indications that he may be an innocent man in prison. And one of the officers in his case is now in prison for massive corruption over the years. And then the other one, I think, what turned out to be the only police officer in Texas. He killed more people than anybody else, and yet he's allegedly, and then he's still in law enforcement to this day.
So we're looking forward to listen to his side, what evidence he has that he thinks that exonerates Lamar.
We're going to take a balanced look at it, So we're going to wrap this up. Ignacio, thank you so much for joining us. Shane Coyle, thank you.
Shane Coyle, interesting guy.
Child Safety Soldiers, links in the description. And everybody, check out Steal a Spotlight. If you need public relations help, press releases, anything like that, contact me here. My contact information is on the screen.
And don't forget about ATF Undercover and on Amazon, all the books out there.
That's right. So, and then my new book just came out, which is this one about one of the biggest vault heists in history. True story.
Excellent.
With my crime prevention techniques in it. So get that. It's free if you're a Kindle Unlimited subscription. I think it costs.
And you can read my forward I put in there, folks. Check out the forward I put in the book also.
Yep. And I think it's like $3 right now. That's everybody on the team at the moment. From my new press kit, Ignacio, Frank Lordi, and Dr. Mary Bass, my beautiful and brilliant fiance. She's a forensic accountant.
And Bill, maybe one day, like you said, we'll go on a tour, the four of us, and do a speaking tour and promotional books and all that. And maybe we'll even hook up with Shane and help him out too.
Yep. And look for the story I'm going to be doing here in the next few days with a former organized crime detective who did the Wasteland, the garbage hauling case with organized crime in New York in the 90s. His name is Louis Ballesteri, and his partner, who I forget his name, Vic, but they all gave each other nicknames, and he's cool with this because he's one of these, guys who's always coiffing himself. They call him Pretty was his nickname on the squad. So it's funny because I saw the organized crime shield, and it has, the Goodfellas has the puppeteer strings coming down, like the puppeteer. Okay. So the organized crime shield for New York for that squad has that same thing on it.
Oh,
but it's on the letters for organized crime division or whatever. So I'm going to put that on the screen. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
Thank you, guys. All right. We'll take care.
Thank you.
All right, Bill.
And guess what, guys? One last thing. The buck stops here.
No Buc-ees. No Buc-ees in Stafford.
No Buc-ees in Stafford. We're going to show you this, and we're going to sign off. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we will see you again soon.
Thanks, guys.